Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a special welcome to SPB for being so kind enough to accept our invitation. Be with us today, despite his grueling schedule. These days, I believe he's an ambassador for the Swachh Bharat scheme in parts of Andhra Pradesh. He spends a lot of time there. And tomorrow early morning, he has to leave for Dubai. And despite that, he has accepted our invitation, and the only one reason I can think of is because it is about MSV. MSV's association with Balu, or Balu's association with MSV, runs for many years, and on one occasion when MSV was at my residence, he was talking about the various musicians and vocalists he has directed, and his description of SPB was that SPB is like a blotting paper. He completely absorbs everything that I have to give. There's nothing. So normally he doesn't say that of many singers. So this evening we are going to be spending the next 1 hour or so taking the example of an individual who came with very humble beginnings and strode as a colossus in the field of film music for over 3 decades. Generally, MMA talks about leadership, stars in manufacturing, business, trade, and commerce. So today, entertainment in its own right is a big industry. We all know that. And its thought struck me as that why is it that we should always talk about leadership role models only from manufacturing and trade industry? Why not we look at the entertainment industry and look for role models there too? There are so many management insights we can gain from them. And because my personal affinity towards music, I love music, and particularly film music, particularly music of MSV. I said, why not we take him as the case study today and present to you how he became a leader, how he sustained the leadership over 3 decades. It's not easy today for anyone to sustain a business as a leader for 30 years or more. It's very tough. I mean, he did it with aplomb. He never, programmed for it. It just came naturally to him that, look, I keep performing. As I keep performing, I stand out as a leader. That's how his life was. So, I thought why not use his example and take you through, it's as a management case study. We are not going to play many music songs today, but we are going to give some specific examples that I narrate upon. I want to illustrate it with song bits, maybe the verse, 1 line, 1.5 minutes, just to show that, look, how appropriate it is. A lot of it, SPB also will be involved in this. The format that he preferred was that after I finish, he will collect all that I have said, plus all that he has to say about this, about MSV, and he will give his view as presentation of what his experience was in working with MSV and how he considered him as a leader. With that, we start. Now, the topic, as you see, is leadership in creative business. Now, any business needs a definition. Yeah, before that, there's no video here, right? No. Creative business, by definition, it is a business of creating and delivering music for films. That is the business he was in. It is a very tangible product, like any other product, and it has intellectual property rights, it has IP rights as well. It is creative because it is custom made every time. You can't imagine a product in a business where every product, nothing can be replicated. You can't repeat even one line of that. Every product has to be different for every occasion, for every sequence, for every situation. So therefore, it truly belongs to the area of creativity. It's a business. Why? Because its constituencies are across the board, same like any other business. You have a stakeholder, who is the producer. You have a customer, B2B, who is the producer as well as the distributors, because they finance the project. And you have, of course, the B2C, the general public, without whose support and validation, success can never be yours. Collaborators. In every business you find you have to collaborate. You have either to collaborate with the vendors, collaborate with the technologies. Here, you collaborators are the directors, the lyricist, and the sound recordist. All these three people have to play their role effectively in order that the music song that is produced as a product is outstanding. And while, in a creative business, you have one side of it is creativity. You have to create something new. Other side is execution. And you often find that some people are excellent in ideas, but when it comes to execution, they fall short. How many occasions we have seen in business where an excellent idea has not succeeded because of poor execution, and sometimes a not so great idea has succeeded remarkably because of excellent execution. In MSP's case, it is as you always used to say that, look, he believes in absolute standards, not relative standards. It is not enough if you are 1% above somebody. You have to meet 10 out of 10. So his creative part, he had to excel, and his execution team, he had to excel. Therefore, his execution team was as important as the creating team. So the singers, like SPB, the members of the orchestra, were as an integral part of the whole production as the creativity part of it. And the music director, just as in any business, somebody has to own the accountability ultimately. The buck stops where? As far as the music is concerned, the buck stops with the music director. His complete ownership and accountability to the producer who has put in the money. So these are exactly very similar thing in any business that you see. And let us look at his background, how he emerged in the early 50s and what was the situation then. At that time there was a subtle change coming from production houses which had their own music team, like the Geminis and like the modern theatres. They had own musicians, music team. They are now moving to outsourcing, where they could go to other talents and get better results. We all know in business where we often move out from captive production to outsourcing. The situation was not very different then. And there was a shift in the emphasis, because before that it was all more historical and monarchy related themes. Now the emphasis was on social themes, and then there was a customer shift from pure classical music combinations to a different genre, including classical, folk and western. And the films are focused on the younger generation with exposure to western influences. So he was emerging at a time there was a shift in the audience expectations, the producer's expectations. The market was changing. And what are the challenges he faced? He had to evolve on a continuous basis, because the situation was not something which was set for him. He entered a situation which was changing. So he had to make sure that he fits in with the change and evolve on a continuous basis. He had to find that new combinations of melody and rhythm to fit three things: storyline, the sequence of the song, where it is placed, and the lyrics. All the melody and the rhythm have to fit in and merge seamlessly into that. And he had to manage technology with the introduction of new electronic instruments. And since he hadn't had the background to learn music even formally, other than what he learned from Nilaganda Bhagavatar, and he was not tuned into Western instruments as to how to play them, except in the piano. He had to manage the technology, because the keyboards and other guitars were all emerging at that time, and use of Congo drums and what kind of. And what is his response to these changes? First thing is the team size of the orchestra, which was earlier, I think, I'm not sure about the numbers, but certainly not very large. He increased the size for better effects. You could see some songs with over 7,500 people in the orchestra team, because that was giving a much better effect. You see here, this photograph, there are all these principal players, and SP was remarking that This is what he is busy today. So, increasing the size of the orchestra for better effects was one thing he did. Next one was, he gave a lot more importance to rhythm and rhythmic combinations than the previous era. I always say that there is music, film music before MSP, there is film music after MSP. Therefore, what he did was transformational. He did not change. He transformed to the new taste. Also, he did not believe in saying that, look, okay, if the public taste is this, let me make a music for that. He believed that, look, this is the right music for the public. And the public lapped it up. That is very difficult to do it because you can't really say what will the public like, what will they not like. But he believed that, look, this public will like this. And he produced, and therefore I consider him greater because he influenced the taste of the public.
Right.
He brought about a change in what to expect from film music. And rhythmic innovations, I have one audio bit where he begins a song with a rhythmic innovation, with the drums and bongos, and you see the electrifying effect it has on the beginning of the song. Over to you. As recently as last week, not last week, 1 year ago, when MSV attended one of those super singer programs, Unnikishan was there. He asked MSV, look, somebody sang this song, and he asked MSV, how did you ever think of this kind of a rhythmic combination to start a song like that? And who played the bongo drums for that? The first one MSV couldn't answer. As always. And he would never, explain why or how he did what he did. But he said, look, the person who played the bongos is Balasubrahmanyam. That's all he could remember. So the rhythmic combination that he introduced, you can see in many songs where there is a mixture of Tishram and Chadushram combining, and different instruments being played, and combining a dholak and a bongos. If you see Padwar Padinal with a piano, with a tabla tarang, and a bongo and a drums. Nobody would have thought of combining these three in a song like this, but we don't have that audio today because I was unsure we'll have the time for all that. So the rhythmic innovations made youngsters very keenly watching his songs because they liked it. It triggered some kind of a spirit amongst them and they look forward to it. And another convention before he came on the scene was that the lyrics would be written and the tune will be and the tune will be set to the lyrics. That was the convention followed earlier. And he believed that, look, no, this time has come to change that. There are situations where I have, for the context, for the situation the directors explain, I feel that this tune will be very appropriate and the lyrics can fit into that. It's a very bold attempt to do that because you have to tell a person like Annadasan to say, look, this is the Santa, and you better make lyrics for that. In that I have one clipping which there is Shyam Joseph. He's a regular player, he's a music director, he's composed music for more than 300 Malayalam films. So even in the films, that was introduced as someone giving the tune first and the lyrics later. That was the film K. Balachandra with Kamal Hassan and Sri Devi with SPB and Janaki. Can we have that bit to start with. Actually demonstrated. And during his time, he complemented the super icons Shivaji and MGR. Their imprint on Tamil films was very, very strong. A lot of thematic compositions which reflected the social and political environment at that time. And a lot of people used to say that, look, okay, all Shivaji films, MSP music, all MGR films, MSP music, means his hit is almost partial to them. He was never, but it so happened that the themes, their acting, everything merged very well with them. So it could produce a lot of super hit songs during that time. And in fact, in the one, I'll come to that later, okay. The other thing, innovation he introduced was, film music was always known to be in the background. Nobody ever saw the artist, nobody ever saw the orchestra, they just heard the record. He was the one to introduce public concert with orchestra. He took the music live to the audience. First in India. He took the music live to the audience. And look at his marketing genius. If you ever want to have connectivity with your B2C customer, end user, you have to go to him directly. No point in going through a this. So he went straight to the hearts of the people there. The person who listened to the songs completely went bowled over. He came to Bombay they came to Bombay in 63, where Bharati Kalamandram, when TMS, Sushila all came. And the whole Bombay was swept. Naushad, they were all there. In the music, and then Naushad even stood up and asked for a remake or a re-singing the song. Such a hit. Then, along with SPB, he came again in 73 or 74 to Bombay, Chembur and all that. Again, it was a super hit. Because the connectivity was super. And there are instances where he himself has narrated when he said once he got a chit from a guy. He looked at that guy. That boy is about 18 years old. And he looked at the song and he said, look, is this chit given by you or somebody else has asked you to give this chit? He said, no, it's my chit. I want this song sung. He said, do you know how old this song is? This song is 32 years old. You are 18 years old, you're asking for a song which is 32 years old. That boy wanted to listen to Nenai Padellam Nadande Vittale Nenchil. That was the connectivity he had. And another instance, very touching instance, he mentioned once, that in one of those concerts, a young widow came and gave a chit for a song, and he got a little, was a little troubled. He said, look, this song is a love duet, and here's this lady wanting me to play that song. He did play the song, because I believe that lady said that this song, when we were married, my husband and I used to listen to the song every night before going to bed. And he died young. So the memory of this song is so strong in my mind. That is the kind of a penetration he had. And he said a lot of fuss, I would say, trend. First time there was a public ranking of songs public survey of ranking songs. When Pavamanippu film came, I don't know which magazine it was, I think it was Ananda Vigalan, I'm not sure. They asked public, because the songs were super hit songs. They wanted to know which song public ranked first, which song they ranked second, third. So survey done, the survey was published. And surprisingly, they were surprised. Some people thought Attan will be number one song. It was not number one song. The first song was Chiraladuvar Chirasiriparna Shirti Buddhari Train. But that seemed to have touched the chords of the people more than the other song. Not that other songs were any less, they were outstanding. And even in the song of Attan, P. Sushila recently, let out a secret. One of the MSP Times programs, she said, one day she had come for the recording for the song, her voice was not good. And she felt that, look, I'm not fit today for recording. So she said, look, no, sing the few lines. She sang a few lines. I said, no, for today's song, your voice is enough. And that song was Attan. Because there was not too much of higher octave singing. So, he knew exactly what he wanted from his artist. Then music to boost the fortunes of the film. This is another incident narrated by A.V.M. Sharavana. See, A.V.M. produced a movie in the early 60s called Veera Thirumagan, of all tier 2 stars, not the tier 1 stars, not the big heroes, the big heroines. And as you know, those days there would be a poster of the film release on all the walls, and A.V.M. being a big banner. And it so happened after the first week they could realize that the film was getting nowhere. But then in the 1 week's time, the songs had become a super hit. So, he said, what we do? Next week the posters were Roja Malare Rajakumari. The film derived its success, or whatever success it had, from this song. He said, look, this song is a better advertisement for the film than the name of the film. What other validation can you expect than this? And other thing was that those days I was told, and SPB can correct me, no one had ever attempted 100 plus orchestra for any songs before him.
Yes, certainly.
Okay. And when he did Pudhiya Paravai song, then later on he did Vishakarna also, without any help from technology. I don't even know whether the hall size was good enough to accommodate all of them. The story was that some people used to sit outside, yet record this. Imagine, and with people of 100 plus, if one person makes one mistake, the whole thing had to be redone. There was no facility of cut and paste as it is today. So he had to manage an execution team with such a huge orchestra, and I'm sure the song also won't be simple as that. There will be tunes, the bits will be very, very complicated, requiring a lot of attention, but he did that. Similarly, when occasion needed, he could do with 3 people, as he did for Bahar Privane. So he knew exactly that, look, if you want me to make a big bang show, I can do it. If you want to make a very simple folk tune, I can do it. Absolutely at ease. He could navigate from one end of the spectrum to the other. His core team was outstanding, because I have been to some of his recordings. Some of these people that you see here, Shyam Joseph is of course there, Nanchaka Reddy at the flute, Raju on the mandolin, Noel on the drums. I think that is Anumant Rao and this thing. I don't find Gopalakrishnan in this, but is there? I don't know. Maybe he's there.
No, I didn't see him.
Yeah. Mangalamurthy is there. So his core team was outstanding. Each one was an expert. Here, that's where I want to bring in a thesis here that MSV was a great manager of team, because each one of them was outstanding. It is like a CEO of a company having the best marketing talent, having the best finance talent, having the best R&D talent, having the best operations talent, and having to manage them, their egos, their expectations, their deliverables. How do you get all of them together to work towards one objective, that we want to produce a song which is a winner? Just as we do in business to produce a product as a winner consistently. to manage a core team of outstanding professionals for so long is surely the hallmark of a great leader. Another thing I want to emphasize here is he was the one I found who harmonized human voice in the orchestra. No matter how big the orchestra was, no matter how important the players were, the human voice retained its superiority. The human voice was dominant. With all the orchestra, will only support the human voice, will never drown the human voice. SPB can correct me if ever his orchestra drowned the human voice. He would never permit that. To him, human voice is supreme. So this is how he responded to the changes. It is not one piece that he did. He did all the pieces simultaneously. That made a telling impact. You can bring about one change at a time every year. He didn't have the time to do that. He had to bring in all the changes simultaneously. Look at the accomplishment there. Then we go to his practice. What is the foundation of his dominance? How did he dominate this industry for so long? What are the foundations of that? Basically, it's traits and practices. As a leadership, he had shared values, team effort. He would never say that I am the only person who's setting up everything. He would never even say that, look, everything is my creation. Anywhere you go to him, he will only say that it's teamwork, teamwork, teamwork. It is singers who have delivered my music, but for them, where will I be? If my music can be good, but if they don't deliver it, where will it be? So it was team. Drive for excellence and perfection. You would never settle for a compromise. 99% was not good enough. It has to be 10 out of 10. How many times he would say, look, okay, if you have not understood, I will repeat, I will repeat, I will repeat. God knows him. So he was collegial, mixing with people, but everyone knew who was the boss. It was very clear. And it comes to marketing, which is where the whole business really thrives on. You may have good stuff with you, but if you can't market it, then it's no use. Sensitivity to customer needs, which is very important, particularly in a film industry. The customer here could be the producer and with the director. Now, S P Balasubrahmanyam narrated one incident some years ago when he made Bama Vijayam, the film. He wanted a theme song which reflected the entire storyline. And for that, he said that he had shot 10,000 feet by then. He put the entire 10,000 feet rush to Kannadasan, and I think MSV was also part of it. See, this is what I've shot, this is the movie. Now I want your lyrics and I want the tune. And it came out in a very simple yet very catchy song. Can we have that? What are we at? Who are singing this song. That's why the tune is like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You could see the impact that song made on the listeners. And it's so simple. I mean, only Kannadasan can do it, I guess. Delighting the customer. We always, in business, we say that, look, the customer is always right, he's the ultimate thing, and we must delight the customer. But how often can we, stretch ourselves to do that? And how he did that. I have a video here of P. Shishila narrating an incident. It's a film directed by Sridhar, and a song was, as you know, in Sridhar's movies, the song has to be approved by him, the tune has to be approved by him before it's recorded. So all approved, recorded, and the recording finished at 1 o'clock in the night. And Sridhar came at that time. When he heard the song, he said, no, I don't like this song. I want to change this tune. At 1 o'clock in the night. Normally, how a person would have reacted? He would have said, look, this is the tune you approved. You have done that. You can't ask us to go back to the drawing board again. Or alternatively, say it's 1 o'clock in the night. You've already done one shift. People are tired. Give us some time. We'll do it over the next 2-3 days because I have to think now what exactly you want from me. But this composition you say is not good enough. But none of it. For MSV, at 1 o'clock if Sridhar is not happy, he has to be made happy before he goes home. Can you see that she's narrating in her own words?
Sridhar sir, 1 மணிக்கு வந்தார் நைட்டு. கேட்டாரு. கடையார் சொன்னாரு, விசு இது நல்லா இல்லை, இன்னொரு டியூன் போடு. அது விசுன்னு கூப்பிடுவாரு, மன்னிச்சுக்கோங்க. அப்புறம் விசு இன்னொரு சரி ஓகே ரைட் எல்லாமே ஜோசப் வாங்கன்னு சொல்லி உட்காந்துட்டாரு பியானோ கிட்ட. பியானோ நான் பக்கத்துலேயே இருக்கிறேனே, 2 மணிலேருந்து இருக்கிறாங்க. போக போக இன்னும் உஷாராயிட்டேன். 10 மணிக்கு மேலே இன்னும் நல்ல ஷார்ப்பாக ஒரு வாய்ஸ். என்னங்க ராஜேந்திரன் சார் இவர் பக்கத்துலேயே இருப்பார், எப்போ அவங்க அண்ணா பக்கத்துலேயே. அப்படியே பாடி அப்போ கம்போஸ் பண்ணி சூடா தோசை போட்டு சாப்பிட்ற மாதிரி சூடா போட்டார். வந்தது வந்தது செய்வேன். அப்புறம் அதாச்சா 2-3 மணிக்கு போனேன். இன்னொரு தரம் அப்புறம் தேடினேன் வந்தது.
So you can see that, ultimately Sridhar went home happy that he got a fantastic song. So that is the extent to which he would stretch himself. He would expect his team to stretch themselves, and they did it willingly. Nobody complained. Sushila would have easily said, sorry, at 3 o'clock in the night, I'm not going to be singing the song. I'll go home and come tomorrow. No. That was the, hold he had over the people. They never wanted to let him down. None of the team members ever, they felt bad if they let him down, which is again hallmark of a leader. Skillful management of B2B and B2C profile customers. You have to manage the customers in any business. There was one case where he narrated this incident. Viswanathan was a very challenging assignment for him for many reasons. I won't go into the details of that how many tunes he had to compose and whatnot. But at the end of it, it was a huge success. So one day MGR called him and said, you come home, I've got a box for you, cash. So MSV said, no, I don't need it. I'm fine, I don't need anything. Then he said, then somebody told him that if he's calling, you better go. So he went there. First he was greeted with all-wear malai, full-length malai. He had all the distributors of that film sitting around there. The distributors are, as you know, a very important part of the B2B customer. And he said, Ivangallan solranga. He never said I said it, I'm saying it. He said, Ivangallan kakranga, adutha padathu unakku stock irukanga. Do you have stock for your next film? Have you exhausted everything in this? It is, it's a huge compliment paid in a probably left-handed way. So he knew that, look, okay, the distributors are important, and he was very confident that these songs will do well. Of course, SP will have his views on that. The differentiated products for different situations. He was absolutely remarkable at that. You give him a situation, whether it's come from Sridhar or Balachandra or anybody sing, he'll be ready with up to the challenge. And here I have 3 audios. One where at least 2 out of the 3 SPB is the main artist. First one was KB narrating a whole story through a mimicry mixed song in Avalodu Porvagade.
கடவுள் அமைத்து விட்ட மேடை கிடைக்கும் கல்யாண மாலை
so difficult to mix a mimicry with the storyline, with the music, and see how seamlessly they merge. There doesn't seem to be, something they are trying to connect to disconnected parts. So seamlessly smooth. Other example of where ventriloquism and music was combined for our little film against and by SPB. Can we have a bit of that?
இருமணம் கொண்ட திருமணவாழ்வி இடையில் நீ ஏன் மயங்குகிறாய் திருமணம் கொண்ட திருமணவாழ்வி இடையில் நீ ஏன் மயங்குகிறாய் இறகிய பெண்மை இருவகை பொம்மை ஏனினும் நீயும் ஏங்குகிறாய் இறகிய பெண்மை இருவகை பொம்மை ஏனினும் நீயும் ஏங்குகிறாய் கரையில் ஆடும் நாடலேடி கரையில் ஆடும் நாடலேடி சதியம் சொந்தம் தேடுகின்றாய்
That song had a tremendous impact on the audience. Even today that song is being sung in all the competitions. And how did, I don't know who did that part. I think it's Southern or I don't know who did that.
Both by me and Southern.
Southern together. So when he talks about this, then I hope he'll talk about some of these productions which are outstanding, unique. And third one was when, at that time my fair lady had come some years ago. They said, look, somebody said we need a song with running like a conversation at the same of music for AVM. So that's how Andanal Nyabaham was born. When you are a leader and you have customers right across all the production houses, you will always get charged by saying you're partial towards some banners. You're partial towards AVM banner, partial towards Vahini banner, or could be partial towards MGR, Shivaji. And how do you manage that kind of a situation? Actually, in fact, I think he treated all customers equally. I would be very surprised because some of the non-script movies, the songs have been so outstanding. There are movies which have never made the grade, but the songs are outstanding. So obviously, for him, absolute standards were absolute standards, no matter what the banner is, no matter who the actor is. So he insisted on that. And that's what he practiced. He walked the talk. When he'd say, I treat everyone equal, he walked the talk. And human resources was his main armory, weaponry. to execute all the ideas that he had in his mind. So how did he go about that? He attracted the best talent. As you see the music here, with Shyam and others, each one was outstanding in his own department. And there were people who were senior to him before, who came and worked under him. He himself said that, I believe, Nanjappa Reddy was a regular, full-time salary member of a production house. When Viswanathan MSP was only an assistant, then he had to call him and then say that, look, will you work with me? And he readily agreed, and he was one of his key persons in the whole scheme of things. Then he challenged the players by raising the bar. I think this is where I would expect SPB to give examples, because according to MSP, SPB rose to the challenge every time, 10 out of 10, never 9 out of 10. But in raising the bar, he would say that, look, yes, we need to stretch. There's one example of, he even raised the bar for the actors. It's not only, when Shanti film, this song, Yaar and the Nelavu was composed, at the shooting time, this was narrated by MSP himself. Shivaji, after listening to the song, cancelled the shooting. Next day also he cancelled the shooting, so much so they got wild with him and said, what the hell do you mean by... He said, no, the song, the lyrics in the song is so good, I want to see how I am going to respond to that. Fancy a person of Shivaji's stature having to say, you made me think, I have to do something. And MSP concluded saying that, look, at the end of it, Allah, typical in his way, cigarette, everybody wonder if applause going to be done. But that brought out the best out of him. He challenged him. Retention by creating high quality artistic experience and professional pride. This is where again, I would take both Shyam and SPB are the people to say. People who played with him, who sang for him, felt that, look, they were taken to a high quality artistic experience. And they had a professional pride that, look, hey, I did this under MSV. I belong to that. I participated in the creation. And there are occasions when some of the orchestra members felt bad that they did not deliver according to the expectations. He narrated one instance, MSV. One of the Shanai players was Satyam. And according to MSV, Satyam is equal to Bismillah Khan. He used to say, make no bones about it. He said, look, to me, he's as good as him. And it so happened one day, in some song, probably it didn't go well, there was a call from Satyam's house to MSV saying, his wife saying, look, I don't know what's wrong, he's not eating meals, he's crying, he's very upset, you don't know what happened. Then he says he didn't play well, he let him down. Here is a class player feeling that he let the boss down. That is the true hallmark of a leader. He might not have let him down at all, but even then he feels his perception that, look, hey, how could I have done that? I could have done better than this. I let him down. Unless we have to pacify him and say that. Like the converse of that. There was another song in K. Balachandra's movie, Neyal Nijamagirathu. You all know that. Incidentally, Balachandra said when the film was to be produced and he approached MSV, he told MSV, look, Vishu, you have only one song in this film. Now look at the reaction of MSV vis-a-vis the reaction of any other leader. If you go to the leader of a top of the line artist and say, look, I'm going to give you one song in a movie, his reaction would be say, look, for one song, why should I give it to some youngsters, upcoming artists? There are so many of them. Let them do this one song. He didn't say that. If it's one song, I will do one song. And then he added one more song. I don't know which one is the one he added. But then when the Yalakkana song was recorded, and I want SPB to narrate that today because he had actually, that's the reverse of the first experience. Because MSV was emotional. He didn't know, there's a call from MSV's house to him. It's the reverse. So I'm giving both the contrast. Just to show the whole team felt that there's, we have artistic pride in saying we want, what we have delivered. We're so proud that we have delivered this. The remuneration, the accreditation, the future chances, they're absolutely, secondary or tertiary. What is important was that experience I was part of. Multitasking of skill sets. If you see his team, some of his team members, Raju could play the mandolin, guitar, he could whistle, he could yodel, you could play the santur. So if one guitar player is off color today, he can pick up the guitar and play. If somebody santur player is not doing it right, he can play the santur. Gopalakrishnan can play the mridangam, can play the dholak, can play the bongos, can play any of those rhythmic instruments with absolute ease. And this multitasking created a very, very formidable team for him. Which is very important in business because you don't want people dependency on one. If one person is not there, what do you do? Transparency in otherwise closed environment. In music industry, even in Carnatic music, I've observed this. There is some amount of lack of transparency in how the artists are treated. The main artist covers up for the rest of the team members. They used to collect some money saying that this is how I'm going to pay my artist and not pay them the full amount. This has happened in Carnatic music, I'm aware of that. I'm told this used to happen in film music as well. MSV, I believe, the practice was that everyone got exactly what he was promised. He had to sign only on that. He didn't have to sign that I took 100 rupees that I signed, I'll get 80 rupees. So that was another hallmark of his personality, that his integrity, his personal quality. That's why all the artists felt that, look, hey, if I have a chance, I want to play for him. At his highest stands of professional integrity. Examples like Cho gave the example. When he came up with Muhammad bin Tughlaq, he asked MSV to compose the music for that. At that time, as you know, Cho was highly critical of all his plays, very critical of the TMK government. And so MGR approached MSV and said, look, no, you should withdraw from that film. Because it's too politically sensitive for us, and you can't do this. So MSV said, no. To me, what the storyline he says, what is the theme he says, is not relevant. He wants the music produced for that theme, I produce. My job is to produce music. My job is not to tell the public what is good for them, what is not good for them in the storyline. And despite the pressure, he refused. And finally he told MGR, I believe, you take a film criticizing Cho, I will set the music for that. That is professional integrity. If I accept an engagement, I will do that, no matter. Another example was when for the Viswanathan, initially he was told that he will be composing the music, but he's read an item saying that, look, Konakudi Vaidyanathan has already recorded a song. So when it came back to him and said, you do it, he said, no, we have already engaged him, and until Konakudi Vaidyanathan himself came and pleaded with him, so you better do this film, I can't do this. He didn't take up the assignment. Respect for individuals. Nagesh is a very close family friend of ours. That's why he brought MSV home and we spent half a day with him. Remarkable day we had. 4 hours, nothing but music. So Nagesh used to prod him because they have very good friends, so they could easily, relate to each other. He used to say, look, you have to respect people, but vyavastha kadayada adukku. Yaratha annai sonnanu kadayada. It was narrating. I don't know whether it is Nagesh's own imagination or really happened. He said, one day he calls at the studio, director irukara, director illa. Assistant director irukara, illa. Production manager irukara, illa. Na Viswanathan pesren. Neenga yaar pesradhu? Na light boy pesren. Light boy anne, na Viswanathan pesren. Light boy anne. That is, he believed that, even persons very much younger to him, you never call them Vivada, Poda, no way. And respect for individuals is another instance I heard recently, that in, JPR who produced a movie, and one rickshaw puller had composed one song, and he just wanted MSV to read that song. He didn't want even to compose music for it. He just said, I must show this to MSV, give me an opportunity. He couldn't get that. JPR finally took him. And then showed him this guy has written a song. He wants you to just see it. There's no other demand that should be composed. I believe he read the song. You know what his first words were? Kavingere, Edavadu Matalana. He changed something and then I believe recorded that. This is told to me by Porter Balasubrahmanyam is a film. I mean, look at him. I mean, he could have easily said, look, okay, fine, you have told me that, I have seen it, Good enough, we'll see some other time. Surely and pray, as they normally say. But he didn't do it. He said, look, and addressing the Kavingere, the respect for him. Knowing fully well is a rickshaw. Loyalty to gurus. S M Subramanyam, he kept him, looked after him, his wife also till the end. He didn't have to do it at all. Yes, because S M Subramanyam was the one who used his tunes first under his signature, so that they get accepted, and then say that actually this was composed by him, not by me. His work ethic, time management, I've seen. So I've been to his recording. His schedule has some 2 shifts a day, isn't it? 8 or 6 to 1 or 2 to 8? 7 to 1 to 9. So you have to finish that because otherwise rentals will go up. And how you effectively finish that song in that time. When Ilayaraja commented that, look, when I was to follow him, I will know for sure that I will get my studios on time. But when he has to follow my recording, I used to feel very vulnerable because I may not be able to finish on time. He will be ready. So much was his time. Typically on in re-recording also, his timing sense was perfect. With so many people sitting around him, just a 1 minute shot, he has to compose the music. With all these instruments, he has to say that they all synchronize exactly to the time. It's absolutely, I would say, uncanny ability of time management. Unaffected, not consumed with success. He always used to say that in our house also. He said that, look, I have no ego. I don't think myself will be great. Everybody is great. God has given each one something to work on, and that's why they have worked on that. That's all. And once, in one of the programs, again at Balasubrahmanyam MSP with I think Hariharan's James Viswanathan, who is a music director today, and one of the participants sang Raganga Padinaru song sung by SPB, and he asked, did a song, he asked MSP, so how did you pack so many Sangati, so many nuances in this song? How did you pack? Normally one would have expected, I did that, it was this is the idea came from me. Nothing. He said, now a song composed by the producer, that song doesn't belong to me. Once I've delivered it to him, it belongs to the producer. If I think it belongs to me, I won't get my next tune. He has remarkable quality to get down to zero base. Any creative business you will find, who are effective in creative business, people who can finish one thing and get back to zero base. You can see that in drug discovery. You can see it in flavors and fragrances where they have to discover, the fragrance which people like. If they keep remembering that, that will influence all their future creations. So all creative people have got to get down to the zero base. And he was exceptional in that. That's why he could easily go to the next situation where the song situation is totally different. Adaptable, open to draw inspiration from others. He mentioned that, he found that a lot of lyrics themselves had the tune. He only had to, draw the tune from the lyrics. And he said, I mentioned this to Bharatidasan when he wrote the song Tamil Amudan to Payar. I said the music, and after setting the music, when he heard the song, he said, he said, look, yes, I drew the inspiration only from your lyrics. The tune was a superb tune. But he said, look, your lyrics had the tune. I only drew it out. Low tolerance for mediocrity. In whatever little recordings have been there, you would never accept mediocrity. You better deliver or go and practice and come back. Don't pass off. Willing to work with other music directors. He was very, very broad-minded. V. Kumar has narrated once when he composed a song in Balachandran's film, and he said, Balachandran asked him who should sing the song. He said, MS Viswanathan. Balachandran asked him, are you gone mad? You want this song to be sung by MSV? He said, yes, because it's appropriate. I will go and talk to him. He was given a video of that. He went and talked to him and saying, this song I want you to sing. He said, fine. I thought it was MSV's music all along. It's actually V. Kumar's music. Superbly sung. And he had no qualms about working with Rahman, with anybody. No problem. It's a very rare quality in the industry. His creativity, new ideas, structures and experimentation. He was ready for anything. In fact, at that time I have one clipping. where the Ajit Singh was one singer in Bombay. He brought him and then said, look,
Ajit Singh.
Ajit Singh, yeah. So he introduced him with a song with an English bit followed by a Tamil bit. And let us hear that.
Love is fine, darling, when you're mine. No sun, no shine like summer rain. Love is fine, darling, when you're mine. No sun, no shine like summer rain. Without you, dear, life is barren. With you, my darling, all is fine. It's always green as the green, sweet as green, oh my queen.
And this, passion for embellishment and improvisation, SPB will be the best example, because in every SPB song you will find a huge lot of embellishments and improvisation. And he narrated one case when he composed Nilavelu Nirigale, and he gave it to PBS. PBS was nervous. He said, "Vishu, Vlavu Sangadi will do so they cannot pardon by marking." Well, of course, he produced everything, but that is his embellishment. His passion was unabated all the time. He sang that song in our house. Okay, we were playing under this thing, and he put a new song, Sangadi, which was not there in the original recording. So I pointed out, "This is recording." Yes, he would never rest. For him, just because a song is recorded and delivered, that's not the end of it. Creative ideas are accepted regardless of source. He never bothered about from where he got the idea, with the credentials of that person. Is he good? Is he knowledgeable? No. If that idea was great, was acceptable, he said, "I will take it from any source." There he gave one example. I believe for Rajapat Rangadurai, there was a duet, TMS and Sushila, and they had put 7 tunes on the table they had. And they could not decide, there was no unanimity as to which tune is to be chosen. And then he said, "Pinari yaro in Krillina, Tirumi Patya, Narayana Uttaraka, he had tea, coffee program, and the orchestra members, that was his, the Mooney early combined body put That's exactly how that song came out. You will find in that song there are two bits coming one after the other. He said there are the 3 and the 7th one. Narayana was the tea vendor. He could have easily said, "Look, come on, you don't have to tell me which one is good or bad." So he didn't have any ego whatsoever. That was the greatness, and that song came out very well. The combination came out very well. Brand equity, brand reach across all age, gender and social groups. 2 weeks ago, I was filling gas at a petrol station in St. Mary's Road. There was a 20-year-old boy who was filling the gas. And he hummed a song. I immediately called him and said, "Look, the song the song He said, "This song came 1962-63. He was singing Sharavana Poige Neeradi." He must have heard in those Piliya Chaturthi, something, he must have played Sushila song, because this song is played in all those religious occasions. And that song has penetrated him. He was not even born at that time. And he hums that song only at work. Nobody asked him to sing that song. That is excellent. Another case of brand recall I can give is in my own son's case. Like me, he's not that much into film music. He was in Mexico working for an international company. So I went there for a holiday. And he knows my interest in world music. So as soon as I landed, he said, Appa, I got some old song. It is too good. But I don't know, who's the music director. I can only recognize SPB's voice. There's a female voice, I don't know it, but listen to this song, it's a great song. You know what song he played? Elakkanam Marudo. And he was born at the time when the song came. 30 years later, he listens to that song and then says, look, hey, it's a song you should not miss. That is the kind of a brand reach he had. Recently, one of my relatives, in the Navaratri celebrations, an entire Golu was an MSV theme. I asked many people to go and see her. She had worked so hard that all the Bombay, the background were all set to certain songs. The songs are also played, and there are almost 30 plus songs. The whole thing was only an MSV. And she was just a homemaker. She never had any pretensions to being in the film industry, No. That was the impact he had. He had on that. That is why I always say that over 3 generations his brand value was sustained. In summing up, insatiable, pardon my spelling error, insatiable appetite for new ideas and improvisation, professional integrity, work ethic, inspirational leadership that attract and retain best talent, customers first choice, high brand equity, establish a platform for succeeding generations to excel. His was a gold standard in music. How to have a preliminary music before a Pallavi, what's the music between the Pallavi and Anupallavi, what's the music between Anupallavi and Charanam, what different music you can have between one Charanam and another Charanam. You don't have to go anywhere. If you go to his songs, you will find everything that you need as a gold standard. And that was a platform succeeding generations have been using to excel. They can build their own, of course, this thing. But I think these are all the hallmarks of MSV's exceptional leadership in music. I leave the floor to SPB.
Is there anything left for me to talk about? That's the easiest way to wriggle out of a situation. You all know how you do that. You see, good evening to you all. My being here is for the first reason. I miss my father. Not Gopi or all my sisters and my brother is here. I was considered to be the eldest one in the family, even by them. I see these young kids, even some of them, the youngest one, I took into my arms. I still remember those days. And he was my mentor as far as Tamil is concerned, Tamil cinema is concerned, Tamil music is concerned. And I was not there when he passed away. I wanted to be the pallbearer. I couldn't do that. I was committed for some reality show shooting in US. He passed away on the 14th or 13th? 14th. On the 6th, myself and my wife went to the hospital, and I'd been on and off going home and seeing him, having a tete-a-tete with him, and wherever I went, I was talking to him by phone or whatever it is. That time when I looked at him, my only prayer to Almighty was, please take him away fast, let him not suffer. That's what I thought. When I looked at him, I thought he lost. There was nothing left for him. That's what I felt. Because his everything was music. I don't know how to relate this, because leadership in creative business, this jargon, I don't know anything. Or he didn't even know anything, because whatever is attributed, all the pieces have fallen in the right place with his great creativity. And the entanglement, or rather the bondage with these sorts of, they are also legendaries, I can say, ladies and gentlemen. All these musicians, along with singers and lyricists, they all made a family together. But at what cost? He missed his family a lot. How many hours per day he was working, how many years continuously. So for every gain there is always a loss. I don't think that he has seen his children growing up. That's what had happened to me also. Because he was so focused only to music, music, music and music. So I miss this man, I miss this person, I miss this great representative of music. I think he has come for a cause and he has finished his job and left. That's what I thought. And I'm going to talk something about the other side of him, mostly the human side of him. You can connect it to whatever Sir was talking about. Let me start when I met him for the first time. As he was mentioning, a music composer's live program was happening in Chennai. It was the first of its kind in the country. Nobody even in Bombay has done it. It was only M.S. Viswanathan with his full band doing the shows. I was doing my AMI here. I used to go stand in the crowd and I used to feel that can I have an opportunity to stand on that stage to sing at least a chorus part, to be there at least to touch some musician and feel that I was on the same stage where all these great people were there. The reason being, I come from Andhra Pradesh, 100 miles away from here, from Nellore. I never knew Anna, Avana and Tamil. I was only introduced to Telugu music those days with Gandhisala Master, Rajesh Rao, and Sushila Ma, Janaki Amma, Pindiyala Nageswara Rao, all good music, no doubt, I was listening. But when Sunday comes, I used to go upstairs in my home and a small transistor, listen to Neer Virupam. This gentleman's songs were broadcast. That 1 hour, all the songs were his. Maybe 3 or 4 numbers of Mama Mahadevan songs used to be there. But mostly M.S. Viswanathan. I was so attracted. Music can be like this too. This way also a cinema song would be composed. I didn't know the lyrical part of it, I didn't know. But I remembered even a intricate background score of his, including the obligatos. The obligatos is Uncle can throw, Sam Uncle can throw more light on that. Which the musical part in harmony played on the voice, which has no, actually there is a relationship, but there is no relationship, which enhances the beauty of the melody. Those obligatos were also mostly played by violin section, string section. I used to remember that. Don't laugh at me. We were playing some dramas on the stage where I acted, and I, in my own way, wanted all those re-recording pieces to be presented on the stage. I gathered some musicians there, a classical musician who was playing Nadaswaram, used to play a little bit of saxophone. I asked him, I didn't know notation knowledge, even now I don't know. I'm not a trained singer, I play by my ear. I used to sing that and ask him to play for a re-recording piece. That was my passion for M.S. Viswanathan's music. I still remember, most of you know Nalam Nalam Tirnalam song. You know the degree of difficulty of this song, the composition part of it, the background score of it. Nobody can expect what happens after the 4th bar, after the 8th bar, after the 10th bar. What will be the next turning point? Nobody. Same way he has composed the background score also for that song. Like Nalam Nalam Tirunalam Nangaikum Nambikum Mananalam திருநாளா both put together. It smells so much of Sangeeta for me. If you take the background score, I'll sing the background score for you. Dun ding dun 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 ding dun da dun ding 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 da dee dee da ding dun ding dun ding dun da dun ding dun ding da dee dee da da dee 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 da da dee da dee 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 da dee 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 da dee 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 da dee 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 da dee ding 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 dun ding 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 ding. There is so much of, there are so many places in this. This is violins, accordion, and mandolin, and everything. How do I remember this? It made so much of an impact on a novice like me. Like that, I used to remember so many of his songs without knowing the language. So it so happened, my dream was to become an engineer. I have come and I have got a chance by the grace of Almighty and my mentor in Telugu, Mr. Kodindapani, who has given me a break in 1966. It happened on the 15th of December. This 15th of December, I am completing 49 years of my life. And in 1967, end of 67, one of my friends, just acquired friend called Mr. Bharani Kumar, who was a poster designer, such a wonderful poster designer. He was working for Chitralaya mostly. He heard me singing and said, "You should sing in Tamil." I do. என்னை கொல்ட்டின்னு தான் கூப்பிடுவாங்க, நான் தமிழ் ஆனா அவனுக்கு தெரியாது அப்படின்னு சொல்லி அவங்ககிட்ட தெலுங்குல பேசுறேன். பிகாஸ் ஹிஸ் மதர் டங் வாஸ் ஆல்சோ தெலுங்கு. பரவாயில்லையா, நீ வந்து ஐ வாண்ட் யூ டு சிங் இன் தமிழ்னா. சரி, எப்படியோ என்ன கொண்டு போய் அந்த புண்ணியாத்மனை கொஞ்சம் இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் பண்ண முடியுமான்னு கேட்டேன். யார் அந்த புண்ணியாத்மனா? MS விஸ்வநாதன். இல்லை, முதல்ல அங்கே போகிறதுக்கு முன்னால் நான் சித்ராலயாவில் வேலை செய்கிறேன். பிகாஸ் ஐ ஒர்க் இன் சித்ராலயா. I want you to meet Mr. Sridhar அப்படின்னார். He was shooting Nenjirukkum Varai in Bharani Studios. There were 2 floors. In between there was a lawn. It was a tea break. Both the artists and everybody came with him. Sundararajan sir was there, except Shivaji sir. Everybody was there. And Mr. Sridhar came. And luckily his mother tongue is also Telugu. And he introduced me to Sridhar and said, "இந்த பையன் பாடுறான், தெலுங்குல பாடுறேன்." நான் இப்படி தான் நின்றுட்டு இருந்தேன். He sang something. அப்போ I used to sing a lot of Hindi songs. So I sang the title song of Mere Mehboob. சுந்தரராஜன் மேஜர் சாருக்கு வந்து ஹிந்தி மேலே ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கு, இன்னொரு ஹிந்தி பாட்டு பாடுங்கன்னு பாடினேன். Everybody liked and started clap. I was young kid. And Sridhar said, நல்லா பாடுறான் போல இருக்கு, ஆனால் எங்களுக்கு வந்து அது எங்கள் மியூசிக் டைரக்டர் தான் ஓகே பண்ணணும். எதுக்கு ஓகே பண்ணணும்? ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆஃப் ஆல் நான் வந்து சினிமா சான்ஸ் கிடைக்கிறதுன்னு போகவே இல்லை, அவர் பார்க்கணும் முதல்ல, அது முன்னால பாடினாங்க. ஸோ he said Viswanathan has to approve his singing. Then Bharani said, நாளைக்கு ரிஹர்சல்ஸ் நடந்துட்டு இருக்கு, அங்கே ஆஃபீஸுக்கு கொண்டு வா. Rehearsals in those days, all the musicians used to go to the production house after the composing of the song is over, and the background composition used to happen there, and they all used to rehearse along with the singers, sometimes couple of days, more than that, and then go to the recording theatre for recording. I enter into Chitralaya office. I see about 35 to 40 musicians. Even Shyamandal was there. My first meeting with him, all these gentlemen. நினைத்தால் போதும் ஆடுவேன் பாட்டு, நினைத்தால் போதும் தாரினே. Lot of orchestral support needed song. I stood there. First of all, I watched everything, I heard everything. In case I get a break, am I going to fit into this? How to stand and sing along with such stalwarts playing music? Well, anyway, that session was over. All were packing up. Then I was introduced through Sridhar to Mr. MS Viswanathan. என்னென்ன பாட்டு பாடுறீங்க வாங்க அப்படின்னு. யூஸ்வலி மியூசிக் டைரக்டர் இஸ் அசிஸ்டன்ட் சுத்தி கொடுப்பா, அந்த பையன் பாட்டாலும் அவர் உட்கார்ந்து கேட்பார். He started playing this thing. நான் அங்கே கூட ஹிந்தி சாங் தான், தோஸ்திலேருந்து ஒரு பாட்டு பாடினேன். जाने वालों जरा मुड़ के देखो मुझे एक इंसान हूँ मैं तुम्हारे तरह இந்த பாட்டு பாடினேன் ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கு ஏதோ தமிழ் பாடுங்களேன் அப்படின்னு என்ன பாடுறதுன்னு தெரியல சித்ராலயா has a press also downstairs and அவங்க ஒரு மேகசின் அங்கே ஏதோ ஒரு பாட்டு புக்கு கிடைக்குமான்னா ராம பாட்டு புக்கு கொண்டு வந்து கொடுத்தாங்க படம் நிலவே என்னிடம் நெருங்காது எனக்கு படிக்க தான் தெரியாது அவர்கிட்ட வந்து நான் படிக்க தெரியாதுன்னு சொல்றதுக்கு பயம் யாராவது somebody reads this and will write down அப்படின்னு அவர் சொன்னதை தெலுங்குல எழுதிட்டு பாடுறேன் But everybody was there. They have not packed up and they were all listening to me. And Miss Visar said, "Thambi, ரொம்ப நல்லா பாடுறீங்க. ஆனா தமிழ் நீங்க இப்படி உச்சரித்து பாடுனீங்கன்னா என்னையும் கல்லால You learn this language. Now I promise you, நான் உனக்கு உறுதி கொடுக்குறேன் நீ தமிழ் நல்லா கற்றுட்டு வா நீ எழுத படிக்க வரலன்னா பரவாயில்ல அட்லீஸ்ட் உச்சரிப்பு சுத்தமாக இருக்கிற மாதிரி இருந்ததுன்னா வா உனக்கு நிச்சயம் அவகாசம் கொடுக்குறேன் அப்படின்னு சொன்னாங்க எனக்கு எப்படின்னா ஒரு பெரிய டெஸ்ட்லேருந்து வெளியே வந்து பரீட்சை எழுதி ஆச்சு ரிசல்ட் அப்புறம் பார்த்துக்கலாம் I have seen my God, I have seen this great gentleman called M.S. Viswanathan. Then I was sitting on the scooter of Mr. Bharani Kumar கீழே வந்தது Sam uncle Joseph Krishna, they came and Henry Daniel, they came to the parapet wall and இது மொட்டை மாடி மாதிரி இருக்கு I still remember நல்ல பாடுறீங்க you just practice on bass voice தம்பி நல்லா practice பண்ணுங்க Joseph was hey guy you say good man come you practice good you learn Tamil and come அவர் கடைசி வரை தமிழே வரல அவன் வந்து வர சொன்னான் போனேன் இப்படிதான் பேசுவார் ஸோ எப்படி கத்துக்கிறது I was studying still yet and AMI is அந்த சப்ஜெக்ட் வந்து சொல்லவே முடியாது நடுவில் அப்பப்போ கொஞ்சம் தெலுங்குல கன்னடத்தில் அவகாசம் கிடைச்சிட்டு இருந்தது போஸ்டர் பார்த்து படிக்க கற்றுக்கிட்டேன் போஸ்டர் பார்த்து அப்புறம் அந்த ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் கிட்ட எல்லாம் தமிழ் பேசி ஓரளவுக்கு வந்துச்சு ஒரு நாள் I was going into Bharani studio இந்த ஆஃப்டர்நூன் செஷன் என்னோட பாட்டு ரெக்கார்டிங்காக இவர் காலையில் செஷன் முடிச்சுட்டு வெளியே ரொம்ப ஃபாஸ்ட்டாக நடப்பார் இப்போ ரஜினிகாந்த் எல்லாம் கிடையாது அவர் அந்த மாதிரி யாராலும் நடக்க முடியாது அந்த வயசு பட்டுட்டு விடுன்னு வந்துட்டு இருக்காரு நான் வணக்கம் சொல்லி நீ பாலசுப்ரமணியம் தானே அப்படின்னா என்ன ஞாபகம் வச்சுருக்காரு பாருங்க 2 years after I am seeing ஆமாம் சார் என்ன இப்போ இடையில பார்க்கவே இல்லையே என்ன இல்லை நீங்கள் தமிழ் தான் நல்லா கற்றுட்டு சொன்னீங்களே அதனால இப்போ நல்லாவே பேசிட்டு இருக்கிறீ தம்பி நீ நல்லாவே பேசிட்டு இருக்கிறீங்க கொஞ்சம் கற்றுக்கிட்டீங்களா பரவாயில்ல சார் ஓரளவுக்கு நாளைக்கு நீங்கள் ஒரு ஆஃபீஸ் அட்ரஸ் சொன்னாங்க வாங்க அப்படின்னாங்க போனேன் ஒரு சாங் he said இந்த பையன் is going to sing அப்படின்னு சொல்லி பாட்டு கொடுத்தாங்க ஹோட்டல் ரம்பான்னு ஒரு படம் அந்த கிப்ஸ் மார்க் லுங்கிகள் அவங்க கம்பெனி எடுத்த படம் அது நானும் எல்லாரீஸ்வரி 2 பேரும் பாட்டு அத்தானோடு இப்படி இருந்து எத்தனை நாளாச்சு அட இத்தனை நாளா நித்திரையும் இல்லை இத்தனை நாள் இந்த சுகம் இல்லை நித்திரையும் வீணாச்சு சாரதா ஸ்டுடியோல ரெக்கார்டிங் பண்ணியாச்சு 250 ரூபாய் பேமெண்ட் வேற கிடைச்சது big payments are 250 rupees my father used to send me 80 rupees per month 3 மாசம் அப்பாவுக்கு சிரமம் கொடுக்க தேவையில்லை 250 rupees தான் ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமா வந்து நான் தமிழ்ல கூட பாடிட்டேன்னு சொன்னேன் அந்த படமே வெளியே வரல later he called me and Shantini was Iyakkenum Vilekani. That's how I got into the groove of Mr. M.S. Viswanathan. I don't know what gelled in between us. கடைசி வரல என்னை எப்பவுமே அவர் வாடா போடான்னு எப்பவுமே கூப்பிட்டது கிடையாது இந்த பாலு அவர்களே இப்படிதான் கூப்பிடுவார் ஃபோன்ல பேசினாலும் உலகம் சுற்றும் வாலிபர் எங்க இருக்கீங்க? சில நாள் என்ன புகையில வியாபாரின்னு கூட கூப்பிட்டாரு. அந்த காலத்துல இந்த புகையில விற்கிறவங்க எல்லாம் ஒவ்வொரு ஊருக்கும் போய் சைக்கிள் ஸ்டாண்ட் பின்னால ஒரு கூடல வச்சுக்கிட்டு விற்பாங்களாம். எந்த ஊர்ல இருப்பா இந்த ஆள் சொல்லவே முடியாதுயா. சில நாள் ஃபிளாஷ் கார்டன் பேர் வச்சார். திருப்பத்தூர்ல கச்சேரி நடக்குது. நான் காலையில இருந்து இங்க இருந்து 1 o'clock வரல ரெக்கார்டிங் பார்த்து அப்புறம் கார்ல போய் சாயங்காலம் அங்க கச்சேரி பாடி அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு சூழ்நிலை. சவுந்தரராஜன் இருக்காங்க, சுசிலாமா இருக்காங்க, பாலு எங்கே வரல அப்படின்னு ஆடியன்ஸ் அவர் வந்துடுவார். ஃபிளாஷ் கார்டன் மாதிரி கரெக்டா வந்துடுவார். அவர் பாட்டு வரும்போது நிச்சயமா பாத்தீங்கன்னா வந்துட்டார். ஃபிளாஷ் கார்டன் இவர் தான் கரெக்ட்னு சொல்லி உலகம் சுற்றும் வாலிபன் வாங்கோ அப்படின்னாங்க. As he was saying, the respect for other composers is something. நான் ஃபீல் பண்ணது என்னன்னா, there is no perfect artist anywhere in the world to my knowledge. Whether a painter or a dancer or a singer or a composer, the best artist in the world is who commits lesser number of mistakes. That's all. Nobody can be perfect at all. We are all human. Tell me if I am wrong. That's a different issue. So, நான் அடிமை இதானதுக்கு அப்புறம் அடிமை பெண்ணில் ஒரு பாட்டு பாடினேன். மாமா எம்ஜிஆர், 1000 நிலவேவா, சுசீலாம்மா. அண்ட் தென் என் தெலுங்குல குருநாதர் அவர் முத்துச்சிப்புக்குள்ள ஒரு பூன்றது ஒரு பாட்டு குழந்தை உள்ளம் படத்துல பாடினேன். இதுதான் 3. அவர் எல்லாம் கச்சேரிக்கு எனக்கு கூப்பிட்டு போனா நான் பாட வேண்டியது என்ன பாட்டு? எம்எஸ்வி சாரோடது இயற்கனும் இளைஞன் ஒன்று தானே, அது ஒண்ணுதான் பாட்டு எனக்கு. பட் ஒரு பாட்டு எப்படி தம்பி எம்ஜிஆருக்கு பாடிருக்காங்க, மாமா மாதேவன் மியூசிக்ல அந்த பாட்டு பாடுறாரு. இப்போ ஆர்கெஸ்ட்ரா பிராக்டிஸ் பண்ண வச்சு அவர்கள் அந்த பாட்டு இட் வாஸ் கம்போஸ்ட் பை கேவி மகாதேவன். நோட்ஸ் எல்லாம் கொடுத்து ஆர்கெஸ்ட்ரா பிராக்டிஸ் பண்ண வச்சு அந்த பாட்டு பாட வச்சாரு. அப்புறம் குமார் சாருக்காக தெலுங்குல ஒரு பாட்டு பாடினேன். அது அவருக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிச்ச பாட்டு. விஸ்வநாதன் சாருக்கு அவர் ஹார்மோனியம் வச்சுக்கிட்டு அந்த பாட்டு பாடுங்க தம்பி, அது குமார் தெலுங்குல ஒரு பாட்டு பாடுங்களே அப்படின்பாரு. Such a wonderful composition. Mama Chanda Mama Vinarava Na Katha Mama Chanda Mama Vinarava Na Katha Vinti Manasu Unti Kalisevu Na Jata மாமா சந்த மாமா. இவர் ரொம்ப பிடிச்ச பாட்டு. கல்யாணமான புதுசு பாம்பேல கச்சேரி சார் மென்ஷன் பண்ண மாதிரி அது பெரிய லவ் ஃபேர். அண்ட் கல்யாணம் பண்ணியாச்சு. என்னப்பா பாம்பே போறோம், நம்ம பாம்பே அதுக்கு இன்னும் போனதே கிடையாது, பிளேன் ஏறதே கிடையாது. I never got into plane at the time. This must be in 71 or 72. நான்லாம் ட்ரெயினில் போகிறோம் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கிளாஸில். உனக்கும் ஒய்ஃபுக்கும் தனியாக ஒரு சின்ன கூப்பை புக் பண்ணிருக்கேன். நாங்கள் யாரும் தொந்தரவு போக மாட்டோம். ஓகே, யாரும் சந்திரபாபு சார், டிஎம்எஸ் சார், சுசீலாமா, சீர்காடு கோவிந்தராஜன் சார், ஷண்முகானந்தால் கச்சேரி. அங்கேயும் ஆல் தி சாங்ஸ் அவர் கம்போஸ் பண்ணாத பாட்டுகள் எல்லாம் பாட வச்சார். Then the next day we had to go to Hyderabad. Gandasala master to Silver Jubilee function நடக்குது. நீ வர எங்களோட, எனக்கு இன்விடேஷன் இருக்கு, நான் இங்கிருந்து எப்படி ஹைதராபாத் பிளேன்ல போறோம். நான் உன்னை கூட்டு போறேன் பிளேன்ல. He brought both me and my wife to Hyderabad along with him. And these are all not smaller things when compared at my stature at that time. They were such great fatherly affection sprinkled upon me. And the music directors மற்றவங்க பற்றி பேசும்போது இளையராஜாவும் சாரும் செஞ்சு 2-3 படங்கள் பண்ணியிருந்தாங்க. ஒரு நாள் யூனிவர்சிட்டி ஆடிட்டோரியத்தில் பாட்டு பாடுறோம். மெல்ல திறந்தது கதவு, தேடும் கண் பார்வை தரரா தரேனா தரேரதானனா தரனா தேடும் கண் பார்வை somebody is playing. ஒரு பாதி பேக்ரவுண்ட் ஆகி ஃபுல் பேக்ரவுண்ட் ஸ்கோர் ஆனதுக்கப்புறம் சரணம் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணோம். ஒரு நிமிஷம் தம்பி இருங்க அப்படின்ட்டாங்க, நிப்பாட்டார். என்ன புரியல, என்னன்னு தெரியல. இப்போ நான் கேட்டிங்கள பேக்ரவுண்ட் ஸ்கோர் வந்து ரொம்ப அழகா இருந்தது இல்லையா, அது நான் பண்ணல, தம்பி இளையராஜா பண்ணல. நீங்க அப்ரிஷியேட் பண்ணலாம், நீங்க எவ்வளவு அழகா பண்ணிருக்காரு, அதை நான் பண்ணல, பாட்டு தான் நான் பண்ண, தம்பி இளையராஜா பண்ணல. Who cares? Who speaks like that? Oh my God. Mama பத்தி எத்தனை தடவை சொல்லி, I never seen him sitting in front of K.V. Madhav. Just for one gesture, he has given him ஒரு ஷர்ட்டும் ஒரு வேஷ்டியும் கொடுத்து ₹2 கொடுத்து செலவுக்கு மெட்ராஸ் போ, கோயம்புத்தூர்லேருந்து HMEல ஒருத்தர் இருக்காரு, அவருக்கு ஒரு லெட்டர் எழுதி கொடுத்ததுனால அவருக்கு அங்கே ஒரு உத்தியோக ஹார்மோனிஸ்டே கிடைச்சது. அந்த நன்றி கடைசி வரலும் வச்சுட்டே இருந்தார் அவர். Never ever. There are certain things which I cannot explain on. நாங்கெல்லாம் எங்கள் யூனியன் மியூசிஷியன்ஸ் யூனியனுக்காக ஃபண்ட் ரைசிங் ப்ரோக்ராம் பண்ணியிருந்தோம். கோயம்புத்தூர், மதுரை, Trichy was the last show and we have completed and ரொம்ப நல்லா நடந்தது. Mama was the senior music director, Ilayaraja was there and MSV sir was there. That evening I can see ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமா இருக்கும்போது செலிப்ரேட் பண்றதுக்காக MSV சார் கூட்டணும். மாமா என்னோட மணிக்கு போய் அவங்க கூட்டணுமாப்பா அப்படின்னாரு. போகிறது மாமா அவங்களை கூப்பிட்றாரு. எதுக்குப்பா இப்போ எதுக்கு கூப்பிடுறாரு, ஏன் அப்படி நடங்கணும், ஏன் அப்படி பயம்? அவருக்கு சின்ன குழந்தை மாதிரியே, இல்லை எனக்கு தெரியாதுங்க கூப்பிட்டாங்க. வந்து அவர் அங்கே மாமா அங்கே உட்கார்றாரு, நான் நிற்கிறேன். உட்காருன்னா டபுக்குன்னு கீழே போய் சப்படாமல் போட்டு உட்கார்ந்துட்டாரு. அப்படி நான் என்ன செய்யணும் சார் அப்போங்க? அதுக்கப்புறம் என்ன நடந்துச்சு? That's a beautiful thing. When we have a chat in person, I'll tell you. I don't want to enter into that. இது அப்படிப்பட்ட மகதேவன் அவர்கள் 13 சினிமா கண்டினியூஸா தேவர் ஃபிலிம்ஸ் பண்ணிருக்கும் போது MSV சார் பண்ணவே இல்லை தேவர் படத்துக்கு. யாரோ தேவர் சார் கேட்டிருந்தாலே MSV சார் ஏன் பண்ணக்கூடாதுன்னு தெரியல, நமக்கு பர்மனெண்டா அவர் தான் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காரு அப்படின்னு கூட அவர் கேட்டவர் சொன்னாரு. சின்னவருக்கு கூட எம்ஜிஆர் கூட நிறைய படம் பண்றாரு இல்லையா, இப்போ நீ உங்களுக்கும் எம்ஜிஆர் தானே ஹீரோ, why can't you utilize the services of MS Viswanathan? Why not? அப்படின்னு சொல்லி வீட்டுக்கு ஒரு அட்வான்ஸ் பேமெண்ட் கொடுத்து, இதெல்லாம் அவர் சொல்லி தான் எனக்கு தெரியும். இப்போ ரொம்ப பரவாயில்ல தெரிஞ்ச விசேஷம். இளையராஜா கூட அண்மையில பேசிட்டு இருந்தார். He was talking. So he went home to talk to MSV. He said, படம் பண்ண நிச்சயமா பண்றேன் அப்படின்னு சொன்னா ₹10,000 அட்வான்ஸ் கொண்டு வந்து கொடுக்கும்போது MSV sir's mother calls from inside. He goes and within about 2 minutes comes keeping his hand like this to Devar. I'm not doing this film, sir. Take back your advance. Why? My mother has given me a shot on here. Why? What is this? The gentleman has sent you to HME for your first success scene was so there. When somebody asks his company to do music for, can you accept it? ஒரு விசுவாசம் இருக்க வேண்டாமா? அப்படி such a handsome gentleman called Mr. M.S. Viswanathan, ladies and gentlemen. Join your hands to that genius. He's listening to you. Now, a little bit of my pensions, my thirst is satiated, and little bit of the burden from my heart is relieved, because I couldn't see him when he passed away. In a way better, I think, in a way better, but I wanted to be there, part and parcel of the family. I couldn't be there, and well, now I should thank you, sir, and all your entourage, all the machinery who has given me to talk. This entire family of MS Viswanathan and this family of MS Viswanathan here, I happen to be part of that. Wonderful sons-in-law who took care of him and who like sons, who treated him all the way. And he has grandchildren. I still remember in one of his birthday parties, they composed a song, they recorded a song, they presented the CD that day. And what else a grandfather or a father or a husband can ask more than this? And as another father from children like us, he got whatever he wanted by way of music. And அவருக்கு என்ன செஞ்சாலும் என்னுடைய கடன் தீர்க்கவே முடியாது. MS Viswanathan இல்லைன்னா SPBs nowhere would have been in the Tamil industry. He used to say, நான் இல்லைன்னா இன்னொருத்தர் கொடுத்திருப்பாங்க. That might have been an entirely different case and different situation and different life for me. But those songs, starting from Ulay, and then those 3-4 songs in the beginning catapulted me like anything, and I was recognized as a singer. And when I didn't know how to stand even before a microphone, he taught me so many things. He taught me how to walk. He taught me how to sing, how to stand before a microphone. And I'm ever grateful to him and ever grateful to you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. I think I may request all to say for a moment. I think as a mark of respect, it's been a fascinating evening. No Q&A because we all want to go with all. And I think some of you emulate even some few points what has been said by SPB and MS Shekhar. I think you all will be a great leader. Indian the management system will be in a safe hand. Ladies and gentlemen, I may request you all to please raise and give a standing ovation to the man who has achieved so much. It will be an honor if the family of MSC President of Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And I think get back home some lovely memories. And till we meet again, good night. Get back home safely. The rain is not going to trouble you till you reach home. Bye bye.